Lisbon is a picturesque destination on the more affordable side of European travel with reasonably priced food and public transportation, plus plenty of free activities to keep you busy. In this video, we'll share our 2-day itinerary for exploring Lisbon on a budget. Start your day off taking the tram to Belem. Belem is a district on the west of Lisbon and one of the most popular destinations for tourists for good reason. Belem is located along the Tagus River and home to sites like the Jerónimos Monastery and the Tower of Belem. Our first stop is the monastery. Starting September 30th, tickets need to have a date and time, so it is recommended to purchase online in advance to ensure tickets are available for your preferred slot. The first Sunday of the month is free for Portuguese residents, so it is more crowded then, and they are closed Mondays, so plan accordingly. Entrance is €12 or €6 if you're under 24 or 65 or older, and free for children 12 and under. The monastery is spectacular and worth the entrance fee. It's a UNESCO World Heritage Site and one of the best examples of Manueline architecture. This architecture style is very ornamental and originated in Portugal in the late 15th century and early 16th century. Named after King Manuel I, who was king at the time, it celebrates Portugal's wealth and success from the Age of Discoveries, so you see a lot of nautical symbols and influence from overseas. The Church of Santa Maria de Belem is next to the monastery and is free to enter without a ticket to the monastery. So if you're on a very tight budget, you can enjoy the church for free and the monastery from the outside, although we'd highly recommend going inside. We try to pick one paid activity a day, so the rest of the day's activities will be free, except for food, of course. Which is exactly where we're headed next, to Pastéis de Belem. This bakery has all kinds of pastries and sandwiches, but they are most well known for the Pastéis de Belem, which are a custard tart similar to pastéis de nata, sold all throughout Portugal. But they have a different flavor and were my favorite custard tarts we had on our trip. They're especially good, fresh, and warm. The recipe comes from the monastery, and they've been sold at this bakery since 1837. We ordered a few other pastries to try and had sandwiches for lunch as well. It was a very affordable lunch, under $20 for both of us. The bakery is very popular and lines can get long, but make sure you know which line you're getting in, since the takeaway line is usually longer than the line to eat inside the restaurant. We didn't wait more than 10 minutes to be seated on a Sunday around midday. Next, we crossed under the road to see the Monument to the Discoveries, which is a modern monument, and you can pay to go inside, which we skipped, but the outside is impressive and worth checking out. Then we walked along the river to the Belem Tower. Also a popular tourist stop, the line was very long to get in, like hours long, so we skipped it and just admired from the outside. It's another example of Manueline architecture, and the tower was built for defense, but also is where Portuguese explorers left on their journeys. Now we're headed to a lesser visited viewpoint in Lisbon, the Águas Livres Aqueduct. If you'd like a detailed itinerary with public transportation instructions, check out our 2-day itinerary linked in the description from our partnership with In Transit Guide. You'll want to get a day pass for €6.80, as you'll end up spending more if you buy single tickets. The aqueduct is a little out of the way, but it's nice to escape the crowds in Belem and enjoy a walk along the arches. Built in the 1700s to bring clean drinking water to the city, it survived the 1755 earthquake that devastated much of the city. The arches of the aqueduct are some of the tallest stone arches in the world. It's free to enter and enjoy the views. By now we were hungry again, so we headed to A Merendeira, a popular late-night spot after a night out dancing or drinking. It's a really casual and affordable option, as they have a lot of different combo options. We got the meal that included a chorizo bread, a warm sandwich filled with Portuguese chorizo, caldo verde, soup with kale and potatoes, arroz doce, a sweet rice dessert like arroz con leche, and 2 drinks. We both ate for under $15, so definitely a super affordable option. After dinner, I wanted another custard tart, so we walked to the Time Out Market and got a pastéis de nata from Mantegaria, and while it wasn't as good as Belem, it was still delicious. We took the bus back to our Airbnb to rest up and fight the jet lag for day 2. On day 2, we explored some of the most popular areas of Lisbon, including Alfama, Graça, and Baixa. We started the morning off taking the bus to the Praça do Comércio and the iconic Arco da Rua Augusta. This public square on the banks of the Tagus River was where ships would dock to unload goods in the past, and now it's a popular tourist destination to see the arch, the views of the river and the 25th of April Bridge, and other historical buildings like the yellow Pombaline buildings. There are events, concerts, and festivals held here throughout the year, and it's a central location to catch a bus or tram to another part of the city. It was a bit gloomy in the morning, so we plan to come back later in the evening for sunset when the lighting will be better. Next, we walked to the Cathedral of Lisbon. This is the oldest church in the city and was originally built as a mosque. Entrance is only €5, but we decided to just enjoy the views of the exterior. The famous yellow tram 28 passes by here, and you can get some really iconic photos of the tram in front of the cathedral and then hop on the tram yourself to ride up to the Graça neighborhood. One ride on the tram costs €3.10, so getting a day pass for only €6.80 will help you save money with all the public transportation we'll be taking today. Lisbon is very hilly, so while it may seem like an easy walk, public transportation is usually a good idea. We got off the tram near the São Vicente de Fora church and walked to the National Pantheon to start our audio tour about tiles in Lisbon. If you're a subscriber, you know I'm obsessed with audio tours from VoiceMap. The tour we did today is called Lisbon's Iconic Tiles, a walking tour with context, and it took us through Graça and Alfama, pointing out must-see sites, hidden gems, and context about all the beautiful tiles. I'll include a link to the audio guide in the description. We stopped at places like the São Vicente de Fora Monastery, the Overlook and Convent of Graça, tile shops on São Vicente Street, all before having lunch at Le Bar Crepes. Lunch was $33 for both of us, and we each had 2 crepes, one savory and one sweet. The food was delicious, and the service was great as well. Fueled up and ready to continue our walking tour, we walked down to São Thomas Street until we reached the overlook of Portas do Sol and Santa Lucia. Santa Lucia is one of the most famous overlooks in all of Lisbon, and definitely a must-see. It was especially fitting for our tile walking tour, as there is incredible tile all around this area. Next, we took a bus to Praça da Figueira in Baixa and walked to the Carmo convent. Some people may recommend taking the Santa Justa lift, but it's a short walk up Calçada do Carmo and much faster than waiting for the lift, even if it's a bit steep. More on the Santa Justa lift in a moment though. The Carmo convent in the Chiado neighborhood is most well known because it doesn't have a roof. The convent was originally built in the late 1300s, but was later badly damaged in the 1755 earthquake. In 1864, it was turned into the Carmo Archaeological Museum. The museum has artifacts from throughout Portuguese history, and there is a spot to sit and watch a short video as well, which we loved, as it's a great opportunity to take a break and get off your feet for a bit. The roofless nave of the church is a highlight for sure. Entrance is €7, which does make it our second paid activity of the day, but we thought it was worth it. Just around the corner from the Carmo convent is the popular Santa Justa lift. It connects the lower Baixa neighborhood with the Chiado area, but the lift has become a huge tourist attraction for its unique design and viewpoint. Some people wait hours to ride up, but you can ride down instead and skip much of the line. We waited less than 10 minutes for the next ride down, and when we got out, saw a huge line wrapping around at the bottom. Also, this is where your day pass comes in handy since it costs €6 for a ride on the Santa Justa lift, and your entire day pass costs €6.80. The ticket for the Santa Justa lift does include a ride up and down, plus the viewpoint at the top, but the viewpoint was closed when we went, and you can either pay separately for the viewpoint for a couple euros, or just admire the view from the bridge like we did. The lift has a unique design and even looks similar to the Eiffel Tower. This is because the designer studied under Gustave Eiffel. Riding down was convenient for us and we wanted to experience it to report back, but I definitely wouldn't wait more than 10 or 20 minutes for it. You can enjoy the unique design from below and walk up around to the viewpoint if that's something you want to do. We ended the afternoon back on Rua Augusta, doing some shopping and eating pastéis de nata until we were back at the Praça do Comércio for sunset. It was much livelier at this time of day with live music and beautiful lighting. For dinner, we went back to Time Out Market and didn't love our choice, but our very first night, right after our flight landed, we ate at a Pareirina do Paraíso in Alfama and would highly recommend it. You'll also get to see more of the narrow streets of Alfama that we didn't get to see on our walking tour. It was only €27 for both of us. They don't take card though, so we prepared to pay cash. We stayed in an Airbnb a short walk away for $105 a night, which was a bit of a splurge for us since we like to stay around $70 to $80 a night, but it was hard to beat the location and we really liked it, so I'll include the link if you'd like to check it out. There's so much to see and do in Lisbon, but with this 2-day itinerary, it felt like we had a great introduction to the city before heading out on some day trips to places like Sintra and Aravida Natural Park. Don't forget to subscribe for more budget-friendly travel guides and our next video all about public transportation in Lisbon. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.